Hello, my name is Karen Hughes, and I am the Domestic Violence Clinical Services Coordinator at the Life Crisis Center, and I want to welcome you to the Life Crisis today. Every year we do an art show with clients' artwork that we've asked them to do. They do an art project. And this helps the client in order to help them in their healing and in their processing of all the trauma they've been through. But instead of having an art show, we're actually going to bring it to you. We're going to take pictures and show you through the pictures virtually all their artwork. The first slide we're going to see is on masks. The masks we show the world. We're going to hide things. Everything's going to be nice and wonderful. And then the next side, on the inside, is the mask they don't show the world. Their pain, the suffering that they've had. Things they're hiding from themselves and mostly from other people that they don't want people to know. But then they began walking in their shoes. They realized that they're in abuse. They're walking in their abuse. So one shoe was in their abuse, on the rocks, rocky, hard stuff. And then the other shoe was walking out of their abuse, walking on the grass, bright colors, fun, moving forward. The windows represent either them looking out or other people looking in on their abuse. Sometimes clients were looking out their windows and they're seeing that the world's different than what they were living. Or maybe they were afraid somebody was going to look in on them. Wind chimes are in our communities. Think about that little tiny tinkle that you hear. Well, the clients were asked to create their wind chime. Hear me. I am your neighbor. I am down the street. Hear me. Hear my abuse. Hear what I'm going through. Even if it's a small tinkle. Or if there's a big raging storm, it may hear lots of clanging. But hear me. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men are victims of abuse. So hear me. You probably know me. Often in abuse, they have to figure out how to protect themselves. So the umbrellas are our protections. Think of the storm. And they were living in a storm. And yet the umbrella, they had protection. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was their faith. Maybe it was just them holding on. Sometimes in the pictures, look in the pictures, sometimes those little tiny dots of color, of light, that was what they were seeing. They had still a little bit of light they were holding on to as the protection. Light and darkness in the abuse. Sometimes it feels really, really dark, that there's no lights on, everything is really dark, and other times some light shines through. And that sometimes it's a very tiny little light, and other times you really can see everything is being exposed in the abuse. The colors that are used for the darkness, for the lightness, bruises, what was represented for that? Some branches holding on, or are they the branches that are getting in the way and swaying and storming? In the abuse, what is showing? Often the light is the family. Maybe it's the children, holding the children's hands to try to get everybody through it. Or are there masks? Masks that you show the world and masks you don't show the world. Climbing mountains. symbolisms. For the darkness, is there raging storms? Is there waves upon waves just pushing through? Spiders and spider webs, entrapment, feeling trapped in the abuse? Or is there growth? Trees and growth, flowers and hope, finding confidence. Or can you see their face, but the rest of them is hidden? But if you turn the lights on, then everything is showing. But they're scared to turn the lights on because then it will show. But as they're healing, that they can shine through, their whole body, everything about them can shine through as they walk past the abuse, through the abuse, healing. Maybe it was a little window of their family or friends, or what are they anchored through, that just a window shows that, wait a minute, I'm in here. But the stuff that's hidden on the inside that may not see, but it's still there. It's on the inside. Waves of color moving up through the ocean, moving, that they can move. As they move through the abuse and into their healing, what is that wave? Sometimes the waves knock you back, but is there movement forward? Or is the sun starting to shine? And as the healing happens, maybe the darkness isn't as much. Maybe there's more sunshine than there is darkness. But the sun is beginning to shine. Family, home, creating a home without abuse. Maybe learning to go with the tide and ride the tide rather than fighting the tide. Having flowers and plants grow and seeing the beauty beyond the darkness. From the darkness to the light. When clients begin to address their abuse, they realize they need to grow. And what does that growth mean? Each person, it's different. Each part of them may need to grow differently. They define what is growth differently, but there is still growth, whether it be a little bit at a time or big steps of growth, but growth. Often, life has been messy. They realize in their abuse, it was very messy, but maybe their messiness was from childhood and up through their abuse. And they come to realize messy is okay, because life sometimes is just generally messy, and messy is okay. And they can find their voice and maybe go from the caterpillar to the butterfly. They might need to refine who they are. How do they define who they are? Maybe they can be grounded, but at the same time blossoming and growing and reaching up and refinding that they are who they are, and it's a good thing. Growth can have layers, lots of layers. And sometimes you need one layer to build the next layer and nurture the next layer and maybe even water the next layer. But the next layer just creates more and more blossoms so that it becomes beautiful. Finding that you can reconnect with family, you can reconnect with friends, that there can be happiness and hope that is good, and they can have flowers. But sometimes people see it with symbols. Maybe seeing that it was a stormy, cold winter in their abuse, and they can come out of that storm. And with this symbol, maybe there's an animal that represents something, like a wolf. The wolf can represent perseverance, or finding inner strength, wisdom, intuition. They can trust their intuition, finding balance, but also that they are resilient. Growth can also mean that they can realize, I can enjoy being me. I can enjoy things that I was not allowed in my abuse. I can enjoy not having to jump through hoops anymore. I can just be me, or even explore new hobbies and create new things. And as we create new things, maybe getting into that hobby and maybe becoming really good at it, learning that that can be something that is a joy to do and a joy to be creative, and they can be creative. Finding their voice, maybe using it, sometimes not always in a great way at the beginning, but then learning that their voice can be a good thing and they can be unstoppable, and their growth can be unstoppable. Finding the I ams. I am okay. I am strong. I am good. I am worthy. I am good enough. I am. Learning to nurture yourself, because you've been giving for everybody else, especially the abuser, but taking care of yourself and learning that that's okay. And you are still a good person by learning to take care of yourself. And change is not a bad thing. It might be hard, but it's not bad. It's actually things you can move forward and look forward to, that you can grow and be a new person. Growth can mean that you're not stuck. Maybe you've been stuck for a long time in the abuse, stuck in not being able to do anything, not being able to feel that you can grow, that you are able to do anything right, but you're not stuck. You can blossom, you can grow, you can focus on yourself, you can focus on your family, you can grow and move forward. Growth can be about finding the sunshine, that life can be sunny and bright and have wonderful, like sunflowers, like how they reach for the sun, they look for that sun and they grow in the sun. And they don't have to hide. They can grow and become and have the wonderful growth of who they are as a person. That growth is good. They begin to be on a path of healing. They begin to know that they're no longer a victim, but are becoming a survivor. They get a sense of rebirth and some growth is happening. There's valiance. And they're starting to find joy. And a sense of peace. They can feel their strength. And become hopeful. They can know that they are fearless in moving forward. And there is change. They are learning what is love and that they can be loved. They are finding patience. They are grateful. they are strong. There's a sense of renewal in their lives. And they are learning wisdom. Their path of healing. Oh, but then they had aha moments. Think about the cartoons you see with a light bulb over someone's head. They used light bulbs to represent their aha. Either when they're in the middle of their abuse, they've walked out of the abuse, or even in their healing. What was their aha moment? They began creating life without abuse. And you use your hands to do things, to create things. So that's what the hands represent. Creating their life without abuse. I often hear from clients that they want to give a message to somebody else, another victim, another friend, another colleague that they were worried about. So they were asked to do a quilt. The quilt was Ribbons of Abuse. Dear friend, think about what girls are made of. Ribbons and spice and everything nice. So the ribbons were that. But then they wrote their letter. Dear friend. What message did they want someone else to tell them, or did they want to tell somebody else? Also reaching out in the community. You remember when we were doing painted rocks in the community, when we would leave rocks and you would find them. And that's what we did. We created those rocks and then we put them around town so that other people could find it. And then maybe they put that rock in their car or in their purse or in their pocket, on their bedside table. Where could they remember? And somebody was thinking of them, and that created their hope. We've been talking about healing. We've been in the community with the rocks, but now back with the clients and their healing hearts. It is a journey, it is a process. They have words that they talk about with their healing. And when they realize that they are healing, they increase their self-worth or their self-esteem. They begin to have confidence. They realize that they are independent. They are strong, independent women. They have some self-respect as they heal. They're learning trust. They can set boundaries. And they begin to have hope. Hope for themselves, hope for their future, hope for their families, hope. Trees are anchored, they're strong. And as a victim is moving towards being a survivor and thinking of themselves as a survivor, they're trees of growth. What is their trunk? What's their trunk like? Was it really strong or was it skinny? How deep were their roots? Were they anchored? Are they becoming anchored? What colors did they have? They had growth, and they are seeing their growth, and they're feeling their growth, and they're really beginning to know that they can be a survivor. Healing happens. Healing begins with victims, and they do become survivors. And as they become survivors, they begin to think of, what is my life like? What can I do? How can I become myself? What does it mean to be me? As they do become survivors, they begin to think of pouring into their lives and creating their lives. What is this abundance? Maybe having some abundance in their life rather than having to focus and react to the abuser. They are beginning to think of their families, reaching out to others, looking at their world. What is their world like? What are their goals for themselves? Family is an important theme, that they can actually focus on themselves and on their children and other family members, recreating or reestablishing friendships that they weren't allowed to have in their abuse. Exploring the world, going out and going to the beach, going to the forest, exploring nature, creating their goals and actually working on them and possibly achieving some. They feel like their life is becoming more and more abundant as they go forward and they pour into their life. Pour into their life so that maybe when they're pouring into their life, it's overflowing into their saucers of these teacups. What does that mean to be overflowing and abundance and surviving, creating hope? Rays of hope. All the hands are from clients from ages 5 to 80 that have created rays of hope. What is their hope in healing from domestic violence? Of being able to have hope in life, hope in the world, hope in relationships, hope for themselves. Rays of hope. I hope you enjoyed all the art. They did a lot of work, and it really helps the clients as they become victims to survivors through the art, as well as through support group. If you do need to join us and you have problems in your own life and trauma in your own life and abuse in your own life, you can call the Life Crisis Center. And our hotline number is 410-749-HELP. Again, that number is 410-749-4357. We also have text to chat. And all you have to do is put in 898-211 and then put in your zip code. And that will get you to the text to chat, and people will answer and talk with you through chatting. Or we also have a Facebook page. We have a website. Our website is www.lifecrisiscenter.org. So there's lots of ways to reach out. If you have problems or abuse in your life, please reach out. We're here to help. I also want to thank PAC 14 for making this possible. We really appreciate it. Thank you.